So someone asked me an interesting question and they said, how do you stop yourself from repeatedly contacting the same prospects? And so basically you contacted someone a month ago and now it's a month later. So how do you stop yourself from contacting that person again? Because you probably forgot, you don't want to send them an email or call them again. And then they say, hey, you already talked to me. What's wrong with you? And so what do you do about that? And in the beginning, I used to think the same thing. I used to think like, oh man, what do I do if I'm contacting someone and I contacted them before? I mean, it feels kind of embarrassing, right? And a lot of people tend to ask themselves this question because they haven't really done it. They haven't actually gone out and like really started contacting people. And what you got to do is you got to change your state of mind about this whole thing. So most people, they tend to think about what will happen rather than what actually is happening. So if you are contacting people like that, you're contacting so many that you freaking forget who you contacted. That is a good problem to have. It is not a bad problem to say, oh, my bad, I accidentally contacted you a month ago. My bad. That is not a bad problem. The bad problem is, oh, I have nobody to contact. That's the problem that you don't want to have. And so most of the times your CRM will actually show you if it's a duplicate contact. So when I go into my CRM, if I start typing somebody and they're already in there, it'll show it and it'll say, oh, this person's already there. And I'll say, okay, whoops, let me go on to the next one or something. But you don't really worry about it. And in the beginning, I remember I contacted a sales manager for an event, and I guess he didn't respond. I don't know what, but basically I contacted a sales manager. Then like a month or two later, I contacted him again, and I didn't realize it. And the sales manager, he said, oh, you contacted me before about this as well. And I just replied, I said, well, must be destined to actually do this event together then. And so I wasn't apologizing for contacting them. And a lot of people, they tend to apologize. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Oh my goodness. I didn't apologize. I said, look, it looks like we're destined to be together. And it reminds me of this story with, it was like this story about two shoe salesmen or whatever, and I think it's just a made up story, but it talks about the two different perspectives that people have. And so the shoe story goes like this. It's like, okay, there's this big shoe company, and the shoe company sends out these two sales managers to go out to Africa and say, okay, should we be here or should we not? And so sales manager number one, he's out there for a month and he's like, okay, so you know what? I don't really know about this. And he comes back and he reports to the boss. And so he says to the boss, he's like, look, boss, you know, I don't think we should be out here in Africa because, I mean, nobody's wearing shoes. So, I mean, nobody here wears shoes. Like, why should we come here? And so the boss said, oh, okay. So sales manager number two, he's out there for a month and he's like, okay. And so his sales manager number two comes back to the boss, and the sales manager number two says, hey, boss, we should definitely be out here in Africa. Nobody's wearing shoes. We can sell shoes to everybody because nobody's got shoes. And so that's the whole thing when it comes to the prospecting as well. When one person to think, oh my goodness, I contacted the same person twice, 3 times. Oh my goodness, how do I not do that? While you should be thinking, who cares? That's a good problem to have. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting so busy that you're accidentally contacting people twice.